Sonal, Mehrotra, Kapoor here in Mumbai, and we're all geared up for a Friday, yet another episode on The Breakfast Club.
I'm Toya, Singh, joining you here from New Delhi. Let's take a look at all of the stories we have lined up for you through the day.
Online gaming, no child's play, gaming addiction in kids now turning into death traps. The gaming addict N18 jumps to death from escape to obsession. How to actually rectify it? Importantly for parents, how to identify it in time, we'll tell you on the program.
And after that, one more Make in India revolution story. This time we're focusing on UPI. A few months ago, UPI coming to parts of Paris. How UPI is transforming payments worldwide from local to global. We'll take a look here on the show.
Also, is hangry a real emotion? Going from hungry, tying it up with a lot of anger, then becoming hangry all over again? Well, we've known this for a while, but what is the scientific proof behind it and what should you do? We'll tell you.
India at the Olympics 2024, Swapnil bagging the bronze medal in the 50-meter rifle, 3 positions. Another shooter earns laurels for India. The shooters really making their mark this time.
And also on the program, we bring you a review of the all-new Royal Enfield Guerrilla 450. Explore the bike's design and features in our auto segment Overdrive. The weekend is coming up and we want to start this morning with a word of caution. Now, if your kid is losing friends or you're noticing that they're getting more and more quiet, if your child is playing games behind closed doors for hours, and if your child is also performing weird tasks for a game, all these could be signs that there are ways in which he's gotten trapped into an extreme gaming behavior, and you need to watch out. The story of a 15-year-old boy from Pune who allegedly jumped from the 14th floor is a worrying testament to exactly this problem.
So we're going to go a little deeper into this story for a second and just share the details with you. This is a story that comes in from Pimpri Chinchwad. It's an area near Pune. You have a 15-year-old boy who allegedly influenced by the online game. This is a game called XD. He died by alleged suicide after jumping from the 14th floor. Now, one of the sketches depicted his room, the building. The room had the word jump written at the balcony's location from where the boy actually jumped. The note mentions the last task as log out, perhaps stating the task of actually killing oneself. So a lot of disturbing details coming forward.
So while investigation is still on, his notebook has revealed maps of his own house, notes in coding language, and a list of other players as well. A paper recovered from his room mentioned multiple combat games and also showed a pencil sketch of his apartment and gallery, specifically where he jumped from. Now, Arya's parents have admitted that the boy was addicted to gaming, and it was all a phenomena of just 6 months, where he would lock himself in a room and perform weird tasks.
Now, the incident has reignited discussions around video games, but this kind of video game in particular. Remember the blue whale? We talked about that a few years ago a lot in the media. An online game, remember, which had also been called a suicide game. It caused a stir in 2016. It was a social media phenomenon. It targeted youngsters. It created a cult of sorts almost by assigning them a series of tasks over a span of 50 days and ultimately provoking them to die by suicide as a part of this final task.
So on the show today, let's try and arm you with ways in which you can watch out for these new age issues our kids might be facing. Something a lot of parents also won't understand most of the times and may not be equipped at dealing with as well. Now joining us now is Riddhi Doshi Patel. She's a child psychologist, mental health practitioner, and we want to, Riddhi, sort of pick your brains a little bit this morning to try and understand what are the symptoms one can sort of watch out for. Now, this is not just about online gaming addiction. This is about an extreme situation or getting hooked to a game where you lose all sense of rationale and end up losing your life with it. So, in situations like these, early on signs, can you point those out that parents, those around you can watch out for?
Absolutely. So it's important for every parents to understand that teenagers or young adults who are suffering from any psychological condition, including one that is major in these days is where they are not accepted or their feelings are not acknowledged at home front, seem to be very easy target for such games or such their games. Now, if you see your child locked in a room for many hours, if you see any pattern change, especially the sleeping pattern or the eating patterns, if you see that the child is not sharing anything with you, not connecting much with you as the way he or she used to do it before, probably you see a change in the way the child reacts to what you speak, how you speak, avoids meeting people, and if you see that they are not much interested in anything except their games and the computers, ensure that you put your antennas on and start talking to your child. These are some of the signs which you need to understand as a parent that they are not usual ones.
Riddhi, tell us, in a lot of the cases where situations like this take place, there's already a trust deficit that exists between you and your child. That's actually something that, has probably happened over the last few years. That's why, they may be hiding information for you. For example, they might be locking themselves in their room for hours. So how do you start rebuilding that relationship in a deeper sense too?
The most important here is that the parents do meet the child, sit with the child, admit that they have lost time, but they can always restart. It is important that they don't restart by constantly monitoring, constantly asking questions, kind of hovering over the child, but it's important that they start with baby steps, just like keeping breakfast ready with small notes or trying to make their day special just to get into that good space again and then start initiating conversations. Also, the most important here is that instead of tagging constantly the child about the things the child has been doing, you will never be able to have in the good space of the child. Hence, it's important that you take small steps, baby steps. Try and understand first, take month or half to understand the pattern of the child. Once you are okay with that, once you are understanding that, maybe you can go and take a professional help to understand how to start communicating with your child. But ensure that you don't barge in immediately in their personal space, but you take some time to understand the pattern and go slow.
Right. So, Riddhi, help me understand this. We are talking about this issue at a time when online gaming is a full-fledged profession. Not very long ago, on the program only, we had a full discussion on gaming. The Prime Minister's acknowledged it. We are talking about how young boys from tier 2 cities have made a living for themselves and their families thanks to gaming. So, what differentiates this extreme sort of death traps being set by these games from the ones which could actually be productive, could be a career?
Absolutely. So, first of all, it is important for the parent to help the child understand the responsibilities associated with usage of screen, usage of or investing time in online gaming. Cyberbullying is extremely high these days. Hence, it is important for the child to have boundaries. That gaming is just to a particular level, but if somebody tries to enter your personal space by asking you personal information, your numbers, your addresses, or something about your family, your personal choices, that's a boundary a child needs to have, and the parent is the one who needs to help the child understand. If the parent is not equipped with it, the parent can always take a professional appointment and ask the child to tag along with him or her and meet the professional. Secondly, the children, again, I'm repeating, the children who are not getting space at home to share or whose feelings are acknowledged are the ones who seek external validation, are the ones who will try and meet people online, even if they don't know, but somebody who is just trying to acknowledge their looks, their feelings, their emotions, that what they are doing in their daily life is something good. When some external validations or validators are there in life, it is something which the parents should be really, be mindful about and beware. This is not a healthy sign. Hence, it's important that you start giving that space at home front to your child. Start acknowledging, start talking how the day has been. If you notice any change in the child's schedule, please talk it out to your child exactly as the way you will talk to your friend about your child's concerns. Instead of talking to your friend, talk to your child that I'm noticing this, I'm feeling this. Can we just talk about it? This is more simpler than just going online or getting your answers.
Tell us, Doctor, tell us a little bit more about building that relationship once again with your child. Often kids have their guards up around their parents. It's a cultivated thing that you've cultivated over years. A young child is often cultivated over years. They've realized, I can't tell my parents certain things, I can tell them certain things. And this is just one more roadblock in that larger journey. So just tell us, what are steps? You said right now, take our time, leave notes for your kids. But often a lot of that, especially for teenage kids, doesn't resonate. It doesn't hit home. You know, they're dealing with their own emotional issues, social media issues. Today, bullying is happening online, as you said, and offline. So when you can't make that connection through love or through kindness, what are other routes to go about it?
We start with the word can't. So the children feel that they can't share with their parents because in the past, when they tried sharing, either they were judged or they had some severe reactions from the parents' side. Hence, first the parents need to understand that what are their deep triggers when in a particular way their child is behaving or the particular way the child is sharing. But keeping aside that, their own understanding, their own triggers, it is important that they start noticing their children, they start talking to their children. Again, making the child feel more involved within the family structure or making them feel more responsible is the first thing you can start as a parent. Maybe if you're planning a small picnic or a tour, involve your child in doing all that stuff. If you're getting any changes in the drawing room or in the house, involve your child. That's how you start making your child involved within the family structure. You start making him feel responsible. You also start making him feel that, yes, you are important. Your suggestions and your ideas are welcomed. That's how you start. Probably start having one family
Riddhi, I'm interrupting because we're running out of time, but I have to ask you this one question.
Yes,
These
please.
days on OTT, you have a lot of these so-called death games. From Squid Games to an entire series, it's a genre now. How much of an impact do you think they make on the mind? And would you then suggest that kids and mostly even adults be kept away from online watching like this?
There are certain apps being used to monitor by the parents, and the parents should be monitoring the hours and the games that the child is playing. If the parents see that they are playing or they are part of some games which are not so convincing or not so appreciated, it's important that the parent talk it out. It is important that the parent take professional help and ask the child to, along with the parent, the child and the parent just can go and meet a professional to understand that what is the repercussions associated by playing such games. Again, the children who are easy targets to these games are the ones who doesn't have space at home. So it's important that the child is acknowledged at home. Hence, they can be, stopped from going and playing such games. Important that you monitor as well and talk it out. What is cyberbullying? What are the repercussions? How does this games work? Because children sometimes don't understand the end goals of such games. They don't understand where they are led to.
Sure.
So as a parent, if you are aware, just talk it out.
Yeah.
It's important.
Yeah, I was actually talking more about viewing of this kind of content which is everywhere online, and that could be a trigger somewhere, but perhaps we'll take that question later. Thanks so much for joining us with all those details. That was Riddhi Doshi Patel, a child psychologist and mental health practitioner.
Okay, let's move on from this story now to a different one. This is a positive spin we're taking you to, Indian technology that's making waves as we speak across the world. We're talking about UPI in particular this morning, Unified Payments Interface. It's obviously what we refer to normally as UPI. It's been a game changer in all of our lives over the last few years. Whether you're getting a snack or you're making a larger bank transfer, now you can obviously do all of that on your phone. Now, the payment system is a shining example of Make in India, and it's already supported in a list of countries. So if you're in Sri Lanka, you're in Mauritius, you're in the UAE, Singapore, Bhutan, these are all places where UPI is a supported system.
And over the last few months, it's also made its way over the enchanting streets of Paris. Now, while you're munching on your croissant and sipping some piping hot coffee, you can even buy your tickets to the Eiffel Tower over a UPI. According to the National Payments Corporation, did you know that Indians are also the second largest group of international visitors to the tower? Where our Indian Olympic athletes are not the only ones creating waves in the city of love. Sanjay Suri brings you this report. He sort of tried it out.
It's still the season to book a summer holiday in Europe, as so much of the middle class does, and there is now so much of the middle class. Count Paris in, of course, and then inevitably a trip up Eiffel Tower. By all means, book online, but you don't have to pay online. You can pay through your UPI app in Indian rupees. Ambassador Javed Ashraf launched a UPI in Singapore back in 2018, and he has now brought it to France.
And then we thought that it would be best to start with Eiffel Tower, the most iconic site of France, and in fact one of the most iconic in the world. Gets about 8 million tourists a year. From what they tell me, about 300,000 to 400,000 tourists from India as well. So we started with Eiffel because we knew that once Eiffel accepts it, it creates a sort of a global image of UPI, and certainly this would be the first in Europe that would do it, and it worked.
It certainly does. On the Eiffel Tower site, find the UPI mode, scan the QR code, and off you go. And up you go.
The merchant, which is the Eiffel Tower in our case, doesn't have to open an account in Indian rupees. So the Indian client pays in rupees. And what is interesting is that the client, when scanning the QR code, sees the exact amount in rupees that will go out of his bank account or her bank account. And NPCI, so which is the National Payment Corporation of India, take in charge the conversion part, and we get the money, Lyra, we collect the money in euro, which allows us to transfer the money to Eiffel Tower in euro.
It's not just the Eiffel Tower. Your UPI app can now pay for shopping at the iconic Galeries Lafayette, at the Haussmann store in Paris, and more such shopping through UPI is opening up around Europe.
And we have plans, of course, to deploy it to every places who welcomes Indian tourists, and not only in France, but in all European countries.
India has reasons to promote UPI that stretch beyond Europe and tower above the Eiffel.
It should eventually become a moment, an instrument of remittances, as it has already become in the case of Singapore. So imagine, we get $100 billion of remittances every year, with the country with the largest inflow of remittances. Okay, if you're a worker in the Gulf country, you don't have to go to an agent and spend a whole day queuing up before Western Union, or go to a bank and then pay a massive charge in order to make that transaction, to remit your money.
The Eiffel experiment could be the seed of an ambition beyond that too.
That can the protocols and standards behind UPI become an international system, which is that more and more countries and more banks, more and more central banks begin to adopt these protocols and standards, UPI. And then it becomes a mode of international transaction.
Okay, we've just started your day and we've taken you to croissants and coffee already. But if you're someone who gets snappy when they miss out on lunch, on breakfast, or when they haven't eaten in a while, our next story is for you. Back in 2022, researchers proved for the first time that getting hangry is a real thing. Hangry is obviously a portmanteau of hungry and angry. In a study of about 64 people's food patterns and emotions through the day, psychologists actually found that the more hungry people felt, the more angry or hangry they become. There is a link.
There is definitely a link. A lot of us, including me, can vouch for it. But now this may not be news to a lot of us. Very much, feel that surge of uncontrollable emotion every time we miss a meal. But the trickiest part is when you are so-called hangry, one tends to crave for sugar. You crave cookies, pastries, chocolates or noodles. Again, every sugary snack available out there or anything that will sort of spike your glucose index. Now further, it sort of goes into raising your blood sugar as well. So what can you do about it? What's the right way to prep yourself through the day कि ये गुस्सा कहीं ज़्यादा ना हो जाए और किसी और के ऊपर आपकी भूख का गुस्सा ना निकल जाए? This is our why factor. Take a look.
Out of all the whys in the world, from why is the sky blue to why do cats purr, today we are going to talk about one of the most common whys. Why do we feel hungry? But first, let's find out what happens when people feel hungry.
I feel like slapping everyone.
When I get hungry, I feel like stealing someone's lunch.
Valerie, what happens when you feel hungry?
Angry.
Yes, being hungry is a real thing and not just meant for meals. Research says as you go about your day, the hungrier you get, the more irritable and angry you feel. But why? Well, the answer lies inside our beautifully complex brain. When we haven't eaten for a while, our blood sugar levels drop. This triggers a series of chemical reactions in our brains, leading to the release of stress hormones, which can affect mood and emotions, making us feel more irritable and easily frustrated. But how does it happen? Let's understand the scientific reason from our nutritionist in detail.
So let's understand why do we get hungry. That happens when we haven't eaten for a very long time. जब हम बहुत लंबे समय तक खाना नहीं खाते हैं या कोई स्नैक नहीं लेते हैं, the glucose level drops down. Now glucose क्या है? Glucose is your primary source of energy. Now जब वो brain पे affect होता है because there is no enough glucose, the brain is getting affected. So that is how हमें क्या लगता है कि हम ना थोड़ा foggy, like we can't understand, कुछ चीज़ जल्दी से समझ नहीं आती, foggy brain जिसको बोलते हैं, और हमारा mood जो है वो थोड़ा unnecessarily हम irritate होना शुरू हो जाते हैं, we're not productive. जो बच्चे हैं वो memorize नहीं कर पाते, उनको याद नहीं होता जो वो पढ़ रहे होते हैं. So this all things they trigger the stress hormone, that is cortisol, and that is why we start getting more mood swings, we start getting irritable, we start getting frustrated.
Now we all can agree to one thing, hunger अच्छो को बदल देता है. But is there a way of controlling our sudden bursts of hunger pangs? The answer is a yes.
So let's learn how to manage this and not get hungry again and again. सबसे पहले तो whenever you're stepping out of the house, make sure that you've eaten a good breakfast. खाली पेट घर से मत जाइए. Don't skip meals. Some people do not have breakfast, so do not skip that. Now between your meals, that is breakfast and lunch and dinner, make sure that you're also doing a mid-meal snack. Now when I'm talking about mid-meal snack, it has to be healthy. हेल्दी मतलब घर से कैरी करिए, स्प्राउट्स कैरी कर लो, काला चना का चाट कैरी कर लो, और यू कुड कैरी छाछ, नींबू पानी, फ्रूट्स, एनी ऑफ दीज थिंग्स. एंड इफ यू थिंक कि नहीं ये रेगुलरली मैं कैरी नहीं कर सकता, सम थिंग्स इन योर ऑफिस स्टोर यू कैन कीप लाइक रोस्टेड ग्राम्स, मखाना, some almonds, cashews, or some dates, raisins. That is also good option. But do not get into a habit of eating something junk, okay, like biscuit ho gaya, you are going and having a cup of tea or coffee, or going for a smoke because you feel that your energy levels are dropped out. So right selection of food is also very, very important here. 2 is include protein in your diet. Yes, breakfast हो गया, mid meals हो गया, lunch हो गया, you have to have protein because that will again help you maintaining that, stabilizing your glucose level. And 3 is stay hydrated. Yes, it's very, very important to stay hydrated. So drink 10 to 12 glasses of water, even it is monsoons, winters, but make sure that you're having sufficient water. So I hope these points are going to help you and not make you hungry but happy.
So the next time you find yourself or someone sitting next to you feeling hungry, remember they are not being a diva. Now you know the why. Remember to keep snacking throughout the day lest you bite off someone's head out of hunger.
All right then, hangry मत हो यार, angry होना है तो हो जाओ on a legitimate reason. Give your stomach the food they need.
Okay, let's take you now from this to something very, very exciting, something that definitely won't leave you hungry or angry. We're taking you to the Paris Olympics updates in just a short while right after this break, as another shooter has earned laurels for the country. His story, what he's done and what lies ahead, all of that on the other side.
Listen, there's a...
माई भाई, मैंने भी इस बार SIP करके म्यूचुअल फंड में पैसे डाले, तो मुझे ये जानना था कि KYC का चक्कर क्या है.
म्यूचुअल फंड सही है .com या अपने म्यूचुअल फंड की वेबसाइट पे जाओ, पैन नंबर डालो और सिर्फ इतना देखो कि तुम्हारा KYC स्टेटस रजिस्टर्ड है या वैलिडेटेड.
रजिस्टर्ड हो तो
आधार और पैन कार्ड के साथ अपना KYC वैलिडेट करो, जरूरी है और ज्यादा वक्त भी नहीं लगता.
और वैलिडेटेड हो तो
सही है.
सही है माई भाई. अब तक इन्वेस्ट किया ना हो तो
KYC कर लो और मैदान में उतरो.
सही है.
म्यूचुअल फंड निवेश बाजार जोखिमों के अधीन है. योजना से जुड़े सभी दस्तावेजों को ध्यान से पढ़ें.
External Affairs Minister now shifting our attention to another brilliant piece of news coming in from Paris Olympics 2020 for another bronze for India. This is India's Swapnil Kosale, who's bagged a bronze in the 50-meter 3P event, and also the first such medal that India has managed to win in this particular category. India so far has had no medal in the 50-meter 3P event. Remember, as far as 10-meter rifle is concerned, and in the latest 10-meter pistol as well, India has been able to prove its mettle. But the first medal ever for India in the 50-meter 3P event, and this is Swapnil Kosale winning a bronze for India this time around. It was a rough start for Swapnil Kosale as far as the medal round is concerned, but the last few shots ever since the elimination round began, he pretty much has been steady at number 3 and now winning a bronze for India. Great news coming in, a third bronze for the country after Manu Bhaker in 10-meter pistol. Followed by Manu Bhaker and Sarabjot Singh combined in 10-meter pistol mixed team event. Now Swapnil Kosale bagging a bronze in the 50-meter 3P event. Another bronze, which means 3 bronze medals for India at the Paris Olympics 2024. This is great news coming in for the shooting contingent. All 3 medals so far, remember, have come in from shooting in different events. All 3 different events: 10-meter pistol, 10-meter pistol mixed team, and now 50-meter 3P event. The family, of course, taking to celebrations already. Let's quickly cut across live to live reactions coming in.
मला खात्री होते मला खात्री होती की गेल्या 12-13 वर्षाची स्वप्नची तपश्चर्या, त्याचं जे कष्ट आहे तो कधीही भुलणार नाही आणि आपला तिरंगा झेंडा तो कधीही खाली पडू देणार नव्हता याची मला खात्री होती. भले तो तिसरा आला तरी चालेल, पण त्यानं तिरंगा झेंडा आपला फडकत ठेवलेला आहे याचा मला अभिमान वाटतो. धन्यवाद.
भारत देशात सगळा झेंडा पत्करला त्याचा अभिमान आहे मला. जय हिंद, जय महाराष्ट्र.
वाटत आहे की माझ्या भावाने आपल्या देशासाठी ब्रॉन्झ मेडल मिळालं, त्याबद्दल मी सर्व देशवासियांचे आभारी आहे आणि पूर्ण सगळे जगातले ज्यांनी बघितले आहे त्यांना सर्वांचे मी मनपूर्वक आभारी आहे.
काय कशा पद्धतीने सपोर्ट केला तुम्ही फॅमिली म्हणून?
गेले अनेक वर्षे, गेले 14-15 वर्ष आम्ही त्याच्यासाठी जे परिवार कष्ट सुचलेलं आहे ते आम्ही शब्दामध्ये बोलू शकत नाही. फार मोठा तपश्चर्या आमची आहे आणि यामध्ये त्याचं फार मोठं कष्ट जे आहे त्याचं कष्ट फार मोठं आहे हे आम्ही विसरून चालत नाही.
मोठं योगदान याच्यामध्ये वाटतंय आपल्याला. आपलं योगदान तर आहे, पण
आमच्या परिवाराचं योगदान आहेच. त्याशिवाय त्याच्या ज्या कोच मॅडम आहेत, दीपाली देशपांडे मॅडम, हे यांचं फार मोठं श्रेय आहे. कारण त्यांना परवाच गुरुपौर्णिमेची बोलून दाखवलेलं आहे की माझ्या त्या कोचच नाहीत दीपाली देशपांडे मॅडम, तर त्या माझ्या आई सुद्धा आहेत आणि तेवढ्या माझी ते काळजी घेत आहेत. त्यामुळं दीपाल देशपांडे यांचं तितकंच आमच्या इतकं त्यांचं ते श्रेय आहे असं मी समजतोय आणि साऱ्या देशवासियांच्या शुभेच्छा आणि त्यांचं प्रेम आहे. यामुळे हे त्याला पुण्यही मिळालेले आहे. माझी आई, माझे आजोब, माझे वडील या सर्वांनी मेहनत करून आम्हाला मोठं केले. माझ्या दोघा भावांना, आम्ही दोघे शिक्षक आहोत आणि त्यांच्या कष्टाचं शीत झालेलं आहे. आम्ही आता मॅच बघताना अगदी आमच्या डोळ्यात पाणी येत होतं. खरोखर आम्ही सुवर्ण पदकाच्या आशेनं बघत होतो, पण दुर्दैवानं आम्हाला मिळालं नसो. पण माझा तिरंगा झेंडा माझ्या मुलगांना खाली पडू दिला नाही याचा मला सार्थ अभिमान वाटतो.
यासारखे दिग्गज खेळाडू आहेत ते दिले. आम्ही त्याच्यानंतर आता कुसळेचं नाव लागलेलं काय सांगा?
नक्कीच मला अभिमान वाटतो की या जिल्ह्यामध्ये विशेषतः आणि महाराष्ट्रामध्ये बोललं जातं की कुसाळे म्हणजे नेमबाजी, कुसाळे म्हणजे नेमबाजी. कारण यापूर्वी जयसिंगराव कुसाळे नावाचे आमचे एक फार मोठे नेमबाज होऊन गेले, ते वारलेले आहेत आणि आम्ही त्यांच्याच कुटुंबातले आहोत का असं आम्हाला विचारलं जातं. पण त्यांचा परिवार वेगळा, आमचा वेगळा, त्यांचं गाव वेगळं, आमचं गाव वेगळं. आणि पण या ठिकाणी कुसाळे परिवाराचं आणि महाराष्ट्राचं, जिल्ह्याचं, देशाचं नाव स्वप्नीला अगदी चांगलं केलेलं आहे. त्याबद्दल आम्हाला गर्व वाटतो. आणि माझं गाव छोटं गाव आहे, 1200 वस्तीचं माझं गाव आहे. आमच्या परिवाराचं, गावाचं नाव त्यानं उज्ज्वल केलं, यात मला फार मोठा आनंद वाटतो.
तारा चमकू शकतो हे स्वप्नीलनं दाखवून दिलेलं आहे.
हा, जर माणसाची
Welcome back to TVC, and it's time to take you through stories from India and across the globe. We start with a rather fascinating study coming from chimpanzees. A recent research suggests that chimpanzees can produce human-like speech when raised in a nurturing environment. Researchers analyzed old footage and found that some chimps could say words like mama and papa. The findings challenge the past assumptions about ape vocal capabilities, urging a re-evaluation of the great ape's potential for speech.
Okay, if you're under the age of 50, this next story is a concerning one for you. Millennials and Gen Xers are at a higher risk for 17 different types of cancer compared to previous generations. These include breast, colon, and uterine cancers. Researchers analyzed data from over 23 million patients. They noted significant increases in cancer incidence and mortality in younger adults under the age of 50.
Australia has introduced a peanut allergy immunotherapy sort of program for babies, aiming to build tolerance rather than avoidance. It is the first time that a nationwide peanut oral immunotherapy program is being introduced into mainstream baby care anywhere in the world. The program, called ADAPT OIT, involves a daily peanut wonder dosing scheduled over 2 years. The initiative seeks to transform allergy treatment and reduce life-threatening reactions in children.
And from peanuts to chocolates, who doesn't love indulging in chocolates? However, this heavenly treat could harbor a hidden danger if it isn't made well. Both organic and regular dark chocolates, according to many nutritionists, have been found to contain alarming levels of lead and cadmium in the way that they're made. These heavy metals are toxic for human health, especially affecting children. Nutritionists are calling for an urgent need for stricter safety standards and regulations to check this.
Big changes are coming to Taco Bell's drive-thrus. By the end of this year, Taco Bell will expand AI voice technology in its drive-thrus to hundreds of locations. Instead of talking to a human, you'll be speaking to a computer. This will mean fewer mistakes and shorter wait times for customers. This move follows McDonald's unsuccessful attempt, however, with a similar technology.
And from real tacos now to undersea tacos, fossils of an ancient sea creature. This is the Odrea alata. Show that it had jaws like modern insects. This creature, which swam upside down and looked like a taco, you can see visuals of it. It used its jaws to bite and tear into food. The discovery helps scientists understand how early arthropods, that are the ancestors of insects and crabs, evolved to eat. Found in Canada, the fossil's jaws were a mystery until now, revealing more about life over 500 million years ago. Let's take you now to an interesting new innovation of sorts, an initiative taking place in the country. In an era where social media news feeds often inundate us with relentless streams of distressing updates, finding ways to unplug, to recharge, to detox, that becomes very, very important. One of the most effective ways to shut out the world and shut out the noise outside you is, of course, to get lost in a good old book. Immerse yourself in a great book.
Well, in what has been pitched as a novel concept, Uber has partnered with Penguin Random House to present Uber Eats and offer passengers on select Uber shuttle vehicles a free service of picking a book that you may like for the journey. Take a look.
Do you spend hours stuck in your car that is just nailing along? And when was the last time you actually got lost in the depths of a book? A new initiative launched by Uber and Penguin hopes to kill those two birds with a single stone by launching reading libraries within their pre-existing shuttle services to bring a twist to your daily commute.
This is the Uber shuttle which rides from Noida to Gurugram and can in-house 35 travelers in one time. As you can see, the riders are reading or just doing their work while commuting. Let's have a look at their library which Penguin India has set up. You can see that there are more than 80 books which I can see of various writers in various genres. Many bestsellers have been put here for the riders. Riders can read these books and put them when they get off the bus.
Uber runs shuttle services right now in Delhi and Kolkata, with plans to branch out in 2 other cities. The company says its shuttle services see 35 to 40,000 monthly active users, a user base they hope will find these new book buses to be a real bestseller.
Well, I used to travel by my own car, and it became quite hectic for me because started taking me 2 hours one way. So that's 4 hours to and fro from Gurgaon to Noida. So I think this is a much better and cheaper option that is available to us. It's very easy to book.
Okay, so what is that book? What are you reading?
It's called The Victory Project by Saurabh Mukherjee. It gives me time to read, which I usually don't get while I'm driving.
Amit Deshpande at Uber told us a little bit about what feedback has looked like for this initiative.
We are doing this on a fleet of electric buses that we've recently launched. The ride quality is fantastic. The way the buses are done up is very attractive, and there's a lot of positivity around that. But it's still early days, so we will hear more and we will sort of get the rider feedback as more time passes.
For now, it seems the transport is providing quite the literally lift.
Ma'am, I see you're reading a book, Strange Sally Diamond. tell me something about this book and tell me something about your commute while having a book in your hand.
It's a lovely experience. So yes, I'm enjoying reading this book. I'm having a lovely morning because it's Monday and I don't have to drive myself.
As the Breakfast Club celebrates this novel idea, this is Gaurav Gupta with video journalist Rajesh Bharadwaj for CNN News 18.
All right, let's bring you a roundup of the Paris Games now. Another shooter earns laurels for India. It's Swapnil Kushale and has etched his name in Indian sporting history by clinching the bronze medal in the men 50-meter rifle 3 positions event at the Paris Games.
This marks India's third medal at the Games. It's actually the first time the country has won 3 medals in a single sport at the same Olympics. Kusale's achievement is a testament to his hard work, his dedication. In interviews, he's actually talked about having to ration out the bullets because he came from modest means. He's a ticket collector for the railways as we speak. This has been a long journey for him.
In fact, his family and friends erupted in absolute victory and jubilance as well at their home in Kolhapur. His parents expressed their unwavering belief in their son's ability to secure a medal for India in the Games.
You can see that in the visuals over there. His former coach, Vishwadit Shinde, also expressed his feelings, saying that this victory brought great joy to the entire nation. Take a look.
स्वप्निल ने जो आज पदक जीता है, यह पदक हमें सारे देशवासियों के लिए समर्पित किया है उन्होंने। आज हमें गर्व है कि स्वप्निल का एक स्वप्न था कि मुझे ओलंपिक में पदक जीतना है। अपने परिवार के लिए, गांव के लिए, सारे देशवासियों के लिए उसने पदक जीता है। हमें सभी लोगों को इसका गर्व है, अभिमान भी होता है। स्वप्निल ने 8वीं कक्षा पास की, तब से यह अपने नेमबाजी का सराव करता रहा। आज तक उन्होंने कभी अपने इस खेल में कभी आलस नहीं किया, कोई दिरंगाई नहीं की। हम जब फोन करते थे तब यह हमेशा अपने प्रैक्टिस में रहता था। अपने फायरिंग का आवाज़ हमें सुनने मिलता था। जब हम फोन करते तब हमें अच्छा लगता था।
So firstly, congratulations on the win. It's of course indeed a proud moment for all of us. So you've worked with him, trained him in the early stages of his life. How do you see the difference from then to now, and the fact that he's gotten this bronze for us?
Yeah, Swapnil came in our life when we were selecting the talent. We have a project in government of Maharashtra for selecting the best talent and nurturing them. And in that Krida Prabodhini project, we was selected. Being a talented, we saw some talent in him, and he was brought to Nasik, where Bishmaraj Ram sir, me, some many team, including Nana Deshmukh, we all were there. And I was a technical coach to teach him the basics of shooting. So there his journey started. There were many other shooters also along with him. They were also good shooters, seniors, 1996 onward. So they all supported him. And there was a facility which a new shooter could get because of the government project, which made him come out fast. Though he was very sincere boy, the way what we say he just followed. He was very focused in everything, and same continued. So when he became a national medalist, he came into national squad, and where Deepali Deshpande was his junior coach, and from there his journey started with Deepali Deshpande, who was an Asian medalist, Arjun awardee. So she also nurtured him to the peak, and today the peak is giving the results.
All right, so 3 medals, all 3 in shooting. We're really rooting and hoping the rest of the games also pick up this time around. But let's switch tracks now to the worlds of cars and bikes. So today in the tech segment, we dive into the details of the brand new Royal Enfield Guerrilla 450.
If you've been dreaming of a bike that combines rugged durability with adventure, this might be your next ride. Take a look. This is the Overdrive verdict.
world of single-cylinder 400 to 500cc motorcycles, you'll usually find two extremes. On one end, you have Royal Enfield's own long-stroke engines. On the other end, you have the Rev-Happy KTMs and the Pulsars. So citing a golden opportunity for a middle ground, Royal Enfield envisioned a roadster, something that you could nicely relax on and cruise, or when you are in the mood for some action, go all out with it. Enter the Guerrilla 450, named after a warfare technique of unexpected and sudden attacks. At first glance, the Guerrilla 450 boldly announces its intentions. It's here to challenge the status quo and attack the big players in the roadster segment, like the Triumph Speed 400 and Bajaj Domina 400. So this is a motorcycle that sort of says, okay, I can relax or be laid back whenever you want me to be, or don't for a moment think that I can't turn up the heat when you are in the mood. It can do best of both the worlds, but will it stay true to its name? Can it really make those unexpected attacks? Can it really take the rivals by a storm? That is something that we are here to find out. In Spain, braving the heat, the tapas and the siestas, to spend some time with this motorcycle and bring you this review. Stay tuned till the end. You might look at the block pattern tires on this motorcycle and wonder, did they start off with a scrambler and give up halfway? Well, the funny story is, this was more of a design team's requirement. They wanted to give this bike a more rugged appearance, something that would immediately tell you it's ready for the Indian roads. While at the same time, the bodywork wanted to maintain a bit of that Himalayan character, a bit of that charm as well. So it's a mix of both, though it is a roadster. So why isn't the Guerrilla a scrambler? The plan from day one was to let the Royal Enfield Scram 411 continue its reign. Thanks to the solid foundation and cult following, the Himalayan 411 platform has garnered worldwide. After all, the Scram 411 ticks all the boxes for an accessible scrambler. Well, it was envisioned to be a roadster right from day one. It was co-developed alongside the Himalayan 450 right from day one. It wasn't a last-minute plan. It wasn't something that was pivoted last minute to outdo the competition or something like that. They always wanted to create this niche within the already niche roadster segment. They wanted to harness the power, the capabilities of that Sherpa 450 platform, and the result is in front of you. That said, it only shares the engine and certain components with the Himalayan. Apart from that, it's an all-new motorcycle. Apart from some suspension components, peripherals, the engine, and a part of the main frame that holds it in place, the rest of the Guerrilla is practically a different motorcycle. The engine claims the best-in-class torque spread and runs a smaller rear sprocket, a 45 tooth instead of a 47 for better top speed. It also rolls on a shorter wheelbase, lower ground clearance and 17-inch wheels front and rear, a 4-degree sharper rake and a 27mm shorter trail, all of which makes the Guerrilla a much sharper handler, even with those block pattern tires. The Guerrilla 450 was designed with accessibility in mind, making it both compact and user-friendly. And if you find the Himalayan too cumbersome for city use, the Guerrilla might fit you better. Now let's talk about the ergonomics. That's going to be my seating posture. So the handlebar has been dropped lower, the foot pegs have been raised, and because of the lower height of the vehicle, it doesn't feel as top heavy as the Himalayan. The seat height is lower too, at 780mm, 45mm lower than the Himalayan standard seat, though it isn't adjustable. However, the narrow subframe and the seat ensure easy ergonomics even for shorter riders. Taller riders might find the handlebar a bit narrow, its position a bit low, and the tank not supportive enough for the knees. So as you can see, the ergonomics are very different than the Himalayan. I was talking about the handlebar. Now it's dropped by 30mm and pulled back by about 7 to 8mm. The same goes for the rider foot peg. The foot peg has been upped by about 30mm and pulled back by about 7 to 8mm, and that is what rotates the rider triangle to a more aggressive stance. In fact, it's a sportier stance than the other roadster in the lineup, which is the Hunter 350. It's also sportier than something like the Maverick 440, but on par with the Triumph Speed 400, the 400 being a little bit more aggressive than this one. The unique subframe means you can't swap panels or seats with the Himalayan. So don't even think about those DIY path swap. The Guerrilla 450 isn't burdened by a legacy, so it gets to have a little fun with its color options, just like the Hunter and the Scram. With this colorful frame and wheels on some versions, there's a hint of the Ducati Scrambler or even the Suzuki SV650 vibe in the Guerrilla. Royal Enfield say that they have done some serious fashion forecasting with this motorcycle, but honestly, I find the colors to be too gaudy even for the future. In fact, the only color that I like is actually the matte silver, which is only available on the base model, which means if you were to choose that, you don't get the TFT instrumentation, you go with the Meteor instrumentation with the Tripper navigation. If you had to go with the gaudier colors though, you have the option of the red or the yellow on the top end variants, which seems like they're trying to celebrate Spain, their recent Euro Cup victory, etc. And this yellow in particular, with all these purple accents, I think it's a shout out to the LA Lakers. While it says Guerrilla on every variant of the motorcycle, all their branding exercise for their merchandise, marketing, communication, etc. says GRR 450 or GRR 450. But honestly, there's nothing angry about the motorcycle or its design. It's compact, but yet it mimics all the elegant lines of the Himalayan quite nicely.
Let's take you now quickly to a special section on financial markets. It's powered by Money Control Pro, Money Control's premium destination for investing and business insights. First, markets. GIFT Nifty trends indicating a negative start for Indian equities. US indices end sharply down. This is after a bunch of economic data has indicated deeper slowdowns. You also have Asian stocks sliding. Japan's index is also down more than 4%. Crude oil price firms are rising, but the price remains firm on demand concerns as Middle East tensions continue to persist.
Let's look at sectors then this morning. India's food delivery market is duopoly, and in addition to growth is now seeing profitability as well. Quick commerce is also an adjacent area gaining rapid traction with a huge footprint and reach of those players. Many related areas are being explored. Now, event ticketing is one such area now keenly eyed. You can log into Money Control Pro to find out more about India's quick commerce industry and various other actionable insights on the markets. It is the premier destination for all the investing views and financial insights you will ever need, brought to you by Money Control. All right, with that, we've come to an end of the program of today and of the week. Have a good weekend. Send us lots of suggestions. We'll see you again on Monday.
Goodbye. See you.
माई भाई, मैंने भी इस बार SIP करके म्यूचुअल फंड में पैसे डाले। तो मुझे ये जानना था कि KYC का चक्कर क्या है?
म्यूचुअल फंड सही है .com या अपने म्यूचुअल फंड की वेबसाइट पे जाओ, पैन नंबर डालो और सिर्फ इतना देखो कि तुम्हारा KYC स्टेटस रजिस्टर्ड है या वैलिडेटेड।
रजिस्टर्ड हो तो
आधार और पैन कार्ड के साथ अपना KYC वैलिडेट करो, जरूरी है और ज्यादा वक्त भी नहीं लगता।
और वैलिडेटेड हो तो
सही है।
सही है माई भाई, अब तक इन्वेस्ट किया ना हो तो
KYC कर लो और मैदान में उतरो।
सही है।
म्यूचुअल फंड निवेश बाजार जोखिमों के अधीन है। योजना से जुड़े सभी दस्तावेजों को ध्यान से पढ़ें।
External Affairs Minister. Now shifting our attention to another brilliant piece of news coming in from Paris Olympics 2024. Another bronze for India. This is India's Swapnil Kusale, who's bagged a bronze in the 50-meter 3P event, and also the first such medal that India has managed to win in this particular category. India so far has had no medal in the 50-meter 3P event. Remember, as far as 10-meter air rifle is concerned, and in the latest 10-meter air pistol as well, India has been able to prove its mettle. But the first medal ever for India in the 50-meter 3P event, and this is Swapnil Kosale winning a bronze for India this time around. It was a rough start for Swapnil Kosale as far as the medal round is concerned, but the last few shots ever since the elimination round began, he pretty much has been steady at number 3 and now winning a bronze for India. Great news coming in, a third bronze for the country after Manu Bhaker in 10-meter pistol, followed by Manu Bhaker and Sarabjot Singh combined in 10-meter pistol mixed team event. Now Swapnil Kosale bagging a bronze in the 50-meter 3P event. Another bronze, which means 3 bronze medals for India at the Paris Olympics 2024. This is great news coming in for the shooting contingent. All 3 medals so far, remember, have come in from shooting in different events. All 3 different events: 10-meter pistol, 10-meter pistol mixed team, and now 50-meter 3P event. The family, of course, taking to celebrations already. Let's quickly cut across live reactions coming in.
मला खात्री होती की गेल्या 12-13 वर्षाची स्वप्नची तपश्चर्या, त्याचं जे कष्ट आहे तो कधीही भुलणार नाही. आणि आपला तिरंगा झेंडा तो कधीही खाली पडू देणार नव्हता, याची मला खात्री होती. भले तो तिसरा आला तरी चालेल, पण त्यांना तिरंगा झेंडा आपला फडकत ठेवलेला आहे, याचा मला अभिमान वाटतो. धन्यवाद.
भारत देशात सगळा झेंडा फतकरला, त्याचा अभिमान आहे मला. जय हिंद, जय महाराष्ट्र. वाटत आहे की माझ्या भावाने आपल्या देशासाठी ब्रॉन्झ मेडल मिळालं, त्याबद्दल मी सर्व देशवासियांचे आभारी आहे. आणि पूर्ण सगळे जगातले ज्यांनी बघितले आहे त्यांना सर्वांचे मी मनपूर्वक आभारी आहे.
काय कशा पद्धतीने सपोर्ट केला तुम्ही फॅमिली म्हणून?
गेले अनेक वर्षे, गेले 14-15 वर्ष आम्ही त्याच्यासाठी जे परिवाराला कष्ट सुचलेलं आहे ते आम्ही शब्दामध्ये बोलू शकत नाही. फार मोठा तपश्चर्या आमची आहे आणि यामागे त्याचं फार मोठं कष्ट जे आहे त्याचं कष्ट फार मोठं आहे, हे आम्ही विसरून चालत नाही.
मोठं योगदान याच्यामध्ये वाटतंय आपल्याला. आपलं योगदान तर आहे, पण
आमच्या परिवाराचं योगदान आहेच. त्याशिवाय त्याच्या ज्या कोच मॅडम आहेत, दीपाली देशपांडे मॅडम, हे यांचं फार मोठं श्रेय आहे. कारण त्यांना परवाच गुरुपौर्णिमे दिवशी बोलून दाखवलेलं आहे की माझ्या त्या कोचच नाहीत दीपाली देशपांडे मॅडम, तर त्या माझ्या आई सुद्धा आहेत आणि तेवढ्या माझी ते काळजी घेत आहेत. त्यामुळं दीपाली देशपांडे यांचं तितकंच आमच्या इतकं त्यांचं ते श्रेय आहे असं मी समजतोय. आणि साऱ्या देशवासियांच्या शुभेच्छा आणि त्यांचं प्रेम आहे, यामुळे हे त्याला पुण्यही मिळालेले आहे. माझी आई, माझे आजोब, माझे वडील या सर्वांनी मेहनत करून आम्हाला मोठं केले. माझ्या दोघा भावांना, आम्ही दोघे शिक्षक आहोत आणि त्यांच्या कष्टाचं चीज झालेलं आहे. आम्ही आता मॅच बघताना अगदी आमच्या डोळ्यातून पाणी येत होतं. खरोखर आम्ही सुवर्ण पदकाच्या आशेने बघत होतो, पण दुर्दैवानं आम्हाला मिळालं नसो. पण माझा तिरंगा झेंडा माझ्या मुलग्यांना खाली पडू दिला नाही, याचा मला सार्थ अभिमान वाटतो.
यासारखे दिग्गज खेळाडू आहेत ते दिले. आम्ही त्याच्यानंतर आता कुसळेचं नाव लागलेलं काय सांगा?
नक्कीच मला अभिमान वाटतो की या जिल्ह्यामध्ये विशेषतः आणि महाराष्ट्रामध्ये बोलत